The 15th anniversary season didn't end the way the Austin Bruins wanted it to, falling in the Central Division final in 4 games to the Bismarck Bobcats. But what a successful season it ended up being, going from 5 returners to record setters. It's been a fun journey along the way, and we've been here every step of the way, but we got one final Austin Bruins coaches show to wrap things up. I'm David Coyer. Joining me, as always, head coach Steve Howard. Coach, it's been a couple weeks. You've had a little bit of time to decompress. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Really good.
You got a little bit of golf in last week. Now it's raining this week, so now I have to drag you in and do all the boring media stuff now that you're not outside enjoying the beautiful weather.
Yeah, that's okay, though. Yeah, I don't mind it.
Well, we talk about that Bismarck series. Got to put a little bow on it. Obviously not the way we wanted this season to end. Took it to 4 games against Garrett Roth and the Bismarck Bobcats. Just kind of your general thoughts on how that series went.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought series. Getting that first game, that was great. We wanted to go there and at least get one. That way we can have home ice advantage. Game 2, we were just flat. I could tell. I tried to do whatever I could to say the right things to get him going, and I just couldn't find a spark, especially going into the third 0-0 there. And hats off. It was a hard-fought battle. They got a goal, and Jack was on that night too, and the goal actually hit off our defenseman's stick that was standing in front. He didn't even know it, I don't think, at the time, and then it just glanced off the blade and then went in, and it's 1-0. We're chasing it, pull the goalie, and they get an empty netter. So essentially, it becomes a 2-0 game. But game 3 back here, tie it up. It's 1-1, and they get a face-off play, and it's right after a TV timeout. And we talk about what our jobs are and face-offs, and it was a clean win for them. And the guy just wound up, took a slap shot, and unfortunately, it kind of just found it eyes through their guys' legs and our guys' legs, and Jack didn't really have much of a chance. Might even glance off of Willie's leg, and that's how it ended. It's tough, but it came out in game 4. I thought we'd have a lot of fight in us, and unfortunately, it was just a couple bounces went their way, and that's how the season ends. And but I was proud of the guys, and to play a team like Bismarck Bobcats, they got a lot of 20-year-olds on that team. And they did the same exact thing we did. It was like, we both reverse swept the series before, where we had to win 3 straight. And, I think that adversity right there, battling through it, like, there's 2 types of teams. They come out of that on fire and they're hot. And, I was hoping after game 1 we were that team. And, then they were the same. They were playing good hockey. We were playing good hockey, and then ultimately they got the job done, and they're going to be playing tonight for the championship.
We're recording this on Tuesday, so tonight Bismarck versus Lone Star in the league championship. We'll see who comes out on top of that. But you mentioned the amount of 20-year-olds that Bismarck had. Austin only had 5 of them. So, a very young team. We've talked about it all season long about only 5 returners, kind of a little bit of a rebuild, if you will. But you also mentioned before the playoffs that at this point, age is just a number.
Yeah, no, it was. And, I liked our group. When we went to the Robertson Cup 2 years ago, we only had 5. And, it's I guess maybe my niche, find some younger guys. But, we'll see. Every year is a little different. You got to kind of bend and mold what the hand you're dealt, especially in the NAHL. Fortunately, we got to wait for a lot of the higher levels to get done with their camps and make some decisions on players before we really truly know what we got. We started the season, we didn't have Willie, we didn't have Bynum. Some of those guys, when they trickle back to you, they're difference makers for you. If we don't have one of those 2 guys back, it definitely changes the outlook of our defense core, right? So it was nice to get those guys back. We'll see what happens this year, and the outlook is we don't really have one yet. We won't really know what our team looks like until probably October. We'll get a little bit of a base of what it's going to look like after we get through June here, just when all the USHL camps get done, and then we can start to figure out what we're lacking or what we need, and try to target the right guys for our camp and coming out of camp, and what we're going to look like at the start of the preseason there.
Sometimes you bring in those players who they seem to be that right piece that you need. Ashton Bynum coming in right before the 21-game point streak. He kind of added that little defensive spark that the Bruins needed. Speaking of Bynum, he's one of the 5 age-outs. Ashton Bynum, Jackson Riley, Emil Samuelsson, Ludwig Mellgren, and Gustav Svantesson. Talk about those 5. And obviously Bynum and Riley were here for 3 years. They were on that Robertson Cup run that you had. The 3 Swedes, this was their first year here playing for the Bruins, but they still made an impact.
Yeah, everybody brought in, as far as the 3 Swedes, they brought in their own piece of what we needed. And, obviously Jackson and Bynum playing here for 3 years. It was fun to watch them grow as players, in and out of the lineup their first year, both of them as rookies. And, last year they took a step, but this year they were very, very significant in the lineup and what they did and how they did things. They were leaders. And, Jackson was one of the best captains we've ever had here. And the way he handled himself both on and off the ice, and more importantly in the locker room, you just don't find kids that are like that every year. And hopefully we can get him to the right spot as far as college goes here. He's going to probably make a commitment at some point here in the next couple of weeks. But, we're still kind of making those phone calls and trying to help see if we can't get him something at the Division I level, because he'd be great for a great addition for any locker room. As far as the 3 Swedes go, Melly came over. He was an offensive defenseman. I was really worried about our D and having some offense back there, especially a power play guy, just because Bynes was, projected to be in Fargo, and then Willie made the team as well, and it was just like, geez, here we go. And Lundy did a great job at the start. He stepped right in and did really well there. And then but Melly came over. He's the guy you want carrying the puck up the ice, and we thought he did a great job of putting some numbers up. And for only being a guy that's about 5'7", 5'8", he gets around the ice pretty well. So he was a great addition for us on the back end. And then Gus Svantesson was we call him the F1. He was a hard F1, man. And I remember at one point Al looked at me and he said, could you imagine if you were a defenseman in today's game and you got, obviously I was a defenseman, but having Gus Svantesson forechecking you every other shift. I mean, he's just, he puts the fear of God in D. Like, he works so hard. He goes hard. He finishes checks. He's not your typical Euro, that's for sure. And we saw that when we watched video on him. He comes from Frölunda, which is a very, very good program over in Sweden. And, that's what he grew up playing in. And he played a hard-nosed North American style. So we knew what we were getting when we got him. He really took off in the second half, though. I think the first half, just, because last year he took off. He stepped away for a season to pursue military stuff over in Sweden. Now coming back, I think it just took him a little bit to get back into it. In that second half, he was a force. And then Emil Samuelsson. Sammy was an all-around player for us, and we brought him over because watching the video on him, like he played a little bit of that North American style. He won a lot of face-offs. He went into battles and things like that you didn't really see too many Swedish players do when we watched some of the film. And that was where we thought Sammy was the perfect guy to bring over. We thought he did a great job. They all put up some decent numbers, and Sammy was the guy that was kind of that plug in wherever you needed him. He could be a power play guy. He was a PK guy, a really good PK guy for us, because not only did he take draws, but he was willing to block shots, and I thought he did a great job of that. And once again, he was all situations. If we could have him back for another year, it would have been great.
Yeah, all of them very impactful players, and being able to travel with them myself as the broadcaster and getting to know all of them personally. It's sad to see them go, sad to see everybody leave after this incredible season, but those 5, hopefully wishing them the best of luck in their careers. Ashton Bynum heading to Brown next year to play D1 hockey. As Coach mentioned, Jackson Riley hoping to make a commit here in the coming weeks, as we hope for the 3 Swedes as well. So stay tuned to Bruins social media for any updates on that as we move along this summer. talking about the team leaving, right as the season's done, the hard part comes, and it's the exit interviews, those exit meetings, just kind of talking to them about how their season was, and then sending them on their way for the summer. You're in your 8th year, just finishing up your 8th year as head coach of the Bruins. You've been coaching a lot longer than that. You've been in hockey a lot longer than that. Do exit interviews get any easier as you go along? Does it change year to year with the group of guys?
Yeah, in all honesty, yeah, I'd say they do get a little easier. I mean, it sucks to say goodbye to the guys, especially your 20-year-olds or, you guys that are going into school. It's tough, but it's never the way I look at it. It's never really a final goodbye. It's a see you later type thing, because hopefully we cross paths at some point, or I'm going to get a chance to maybe catch a game. I know we've taken a few trips with the team to go up and watch on weekends off. We've taken the team to watch some of our former players play college hockey, whether they were playing at St. Thomas or the U of M or wherever. So. Yeah, having said that, a lot of our guys still try to come back too at some point. So it's funny, I've had quite a few stop through and come into the office, whether it was during the season or whether it was the off season. So once again, it's more see you later, not a goodbye. But a year like this, it's a little easier just because there was such great things that happened. It takes me a day or two to get to that point, but once you start to think back on the season and all the great things that the guys achieved, and especially like you said, it was supposed to be a rebuild year. We had no idea what we were getting, and look, we had a special season. So, say bye to everybody. It's on to the next part, and that's camp season. And everybody knows in the NHL, there is no off season. So we're right on to the next stage.
Absolutely. And before we move on to the next question, I got to say a story. I live with Dale Swoboda. He's my billet. And John Hirschfeld spent his couple of months here at the end of the season staying with Dale as well. And so he became a billet brother to me. And he was the first exit interview. So we wake up Sunday morning, and he's already got the room packed up. He's already got his car packed up. He's ready to head back up to St. Cloud. And as he drives away, I just kind of look at Dale, and I was like, Dale, you have 2 kids, and you've had a couple players stay here. Does it get any easier? And he's like, nope. And I've said, I'm 26 years old, and I already know what it feels like to see my kid drive away because Hirsch left so quickly and just left that empty space.
Yeah, no, it does. It's a little bit of an empty space, but believe me, over the next month, we're going to be filling those empty spaces.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So
I believe it. Well, so you kind of hinted at it there. We've covered it a little bit. Now to kind of give a little season recap, 5 returners. We keep bringing that up. Alex Lorenza, Jackson Riley, Connor Beckwith. Why am I blanking on Nate Williams? And at the beginning of the year, it was Eli Brown. Switched it up with Ashton Bynum after Brownie got traded away early on. So 5 returners, rebuild year. Then the 21-game point streak happened. And then second half of the season started off a little rocky, but still fighting through it. And then 42 wins, tied most in franchise history. We saw single-season goals record for Alex Lorenza. 2 guys break the single-season points record in Lorenza and Luke Mulcazian. Luke got the single-season assist record. We had both goalies tie the single-season shutout record. Carl broke it with 6. So many successes on the ice. Could you have imagined at the beginning of the year that this is what the outcome was going to be and this is where we'd be sitting?
No, and once again, I don't like to speculate or put the cart ahead of the horse. I've done that in the past, and once you start already forecasting what things are going to look like or what you're going to do, sometimes it's when you get bit in the butt.
Sure.
So, looking at the way the season ended, if you'd have told me that at the beginning of the year that we were going to have the season we were going to have, I would have been pretty ecstatic about it.
Sure.
Obviously making it to the Robertson Cup's the goal every year, and it's a scenario that it's tough to get to. I mean, I'm really happy for Bismarck. They hadn't been back since 2016. I've only been there once in my time here, and it's tough to get to, especially with our division, and it's only getting better with the added teams, and it's back to the drawing board. We're all trying to build for next year now, and we have more guys coming back this year, which is great, but it's not always the you got to have the right group, and you got to let the new guys gel with that group, and you got to keep the culture the same and the thought process the same, and when you can do that, that's when you have a real shot at making it back there.
And for those of you who are excited for next season already, you can lock in your spot right now by getting some early bird pricing on your season tickets. You can head over to tickets.austinbruins.com or give us a call here, 507-434-4978 if you're interested. Early bird pricing ends at the end of May. Otherwise, season tickets are on sale until the season starts. So if you're interested or have any questions, again, give us a call or head online. You can head to austinbruins.com under the tickets tab, click on season tickets, fill out that interest form, easy for me to say, and we'll reach out to you. Again, the season is right around the corner, so secure your spot today with season tickets. Camps are coming up for you. You mentioned that. The off season is in full gear. Season never really ends for you. 3 pre-draft camps. What do you look for in players there? I guess what do those camps entail for people who might be interested in maybe attending one of those camps?
Yeah, so we really target a lot of the younger guys. Obviously, we don't turn away the older guys, but be a lot of 08s and 09s that come there. It's more future related because we get to we're going to Detroit, and we're in Minneapolis, and then we're going out to Las Vegas. So we try to cover at least an area where a lot of players can come to us, especially if they're younger. And from there, we'll find a few diamonds in the rough. We've actually had a few kids that we've not only drafted, we've had a few kids that were free agents. Ended up making our team out of those, and that's what you're looking for every time we go. But more importantly, we find a lot of younger players that we keep tracking. If I'm being honest, there's not a whole lot of 09s that play in our league. If there is any, you can count them on one hand in the entire league. And so the 09s, it's really good for them to get on our radar by coming to some of these camps. And, I know a lot of them do the combines and things like that, but unfortunately we're still playing in our season. So we couldn't make a lot of the combines. We'll send our scouts, but, more importantly, this is we call them CSA for a reason, and coaching staff attended. All of our coaches go to these camps, along with, the St. Cloud Norsemen, the Minnesota Wilderness, and Fairbanks Ice Dogs. We combine all these teams or organizations in doing this one camp. So if a player is able to come to the camp, he's getting seen by 4 organizations and their head coaches and their general managers. And so that's why we want to do that. So Detroit should be fun. There's 3 of them. We lose Fairbanks. They're only doing the Detroit camp because they have their main camp shortly after. And then, but we have the Wilderness and St. Cloud Norsemen. They'll be in Prior Lake the weekend after, and then when we go out to Las Vegas, we'll be with Bismarck Bobcats. Mm-hmm. And so we thought that'd be a great way to finish off. We'll be out there in Las Vegas, and then the week after that is the draft, and we'll pick our protected guys for next year. But unfortunately, and not a lot of people don't know this, when they look at the amount of returners we have, they're like, oh, geez, there's no spots. There's a lot of spots because a lot of our guys are going on to higher levels. Mm-hmm. But we still have to protect them. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword where we're handcuffed a little bit because, Hirschfeld, for example, we still have to protect him even though he's probably going to be playing in Lincoln. You know what I mean? So it's like – okay, so he takes a spot on the protected list because if we don't protect him, somebody else is gonna.
Sure.
And so when you have that, you had Ryan Lund go 6 overall to Tri-City. You have to protect him, but we all know he's probably going to be playing in Tri-City. So having said that, that brings our protected list down. The more kids we had drafted and protected at the higher levels, it's one of those deals where we can't fill those spots, and we only get limited amount of spots. And that's why you'll see some teams only have 4 or 5 draft picks where others have 10, and for us, we're not going to have a whole lot of draft picks, just because we have to protect so many guys, but, it's going to be a fun off season. We're going to try to, dissect every little corner that we can and look around and try to make sure we find the right kids and hopefully, build another team that can make another run at it.
Quick shout out here, though. Ryan Lund, Evan Mulcazian, Nate Williams, all getting selected in the USHL Phase 2 draft. So congratulations to them on that accomplishment. Just accomplishment after accomplishment after accomplishment this year for this team. Great group of guys. A lot of camps. You kind of said trying to, you'll be busy throughout the entire summer. I mean, because you got these camps, then you got, the Bruins' own main camps throughout the summer. In between all that, we mentioned you like to golf. Most people who know you, they can probably find you out on the golf course. What else, when you have that free time, you got any fun plans for the summer?
Yeah, no, I am going over to Sweden to recruit. So I go over there, try to go over there every year and find some more Swedes.
That still sounds like work, though.
Yeah, it is. It is work. No, we don't really have too many plans. I leave that for Kristen. We'll definitely take a trip closer to our anniversary at the end of August, there, right before the season starts. But yeah, other than that, no, there's not a whole lot planned. I'm planning we have a fishing trip with my father for a couple of days, but that's in between the camps. So literally go from one camp to the fishing trip right to another camp. And then, we're back here for a couple of days, and then we fly out to Las Vegas, and then we're out there for a little bit. Then we get back here, and, we only have a couple weeks to get ready for main camp. And then, there's futures camps, there's goalie camps, there's all kinds of camps. We do a lot. So having said that, there's not a whole lot of time to just say, hey, we're going to do this or do that. I'm sure my wife's going to find some sort of a concert or something for us to go to. Sure. But, that's as far as we've gotten. It was just, fast forward to the end of the season, and then as soon as it's done, it's like, oh, geez, now what do we do? So, check back with me in a couple of weeks. I'll probably have some.
We'll check back. But summer is coming. Doesn't mean that there's an off season. Coach Howard and the rest of the coaching staff busy all summer long trying to make sure that we put together a team that puts out a good product on the ice, and hopefully we can have another fun season next year as we did this year. Got to thank all you fans for always coming out and supporting the Austin Bruins each and every home game and when we're on the road as well. So thanks for everyone for the support this year. We can't wait to see you next year. It's going to be August and September before you know it, and we can't wait to see you all at Riverside Arena again. Again, early bird pricing now until the end of May. Get about 7 games worth off of your season ticket prices. That's about 7 free games if you get that early bird pricing. So don't wait. Go to tickets.austinbruins.com and secure your spot today. Coach, any final thoughts as we put a bow here on the 15th anniversary season?
No, I you know what? I do have a little bit of a thought. Sorry, probably shouldn't have said no. Thank you for, supporting us, sponsors and fans. I know we raised our attendance this year, which
third
was
highest attendance in team history.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, and that's something I'd like us to try to break. Obviously, we want to see everybody every night, and we realize that people have other things going on, but we do appreciate the support, and if we can try to beat that next year, I think that's the goal. I'd love to beat the attendance record. So.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 600 people come out when there was a tornado outside, or it didn't end up touching down here in Austin. But hey, we put out a good product on the ice, got that Game 5 win over Minot. But again, we can't thank each and every one of you enough for making this just an incredible season. Again, great numbers off the ice as well, like you mentioned, third highest attendance in franchise history. That's 15 years, and you guys do that. We had a great Paint the Ring Pink this year, great black and gold gala raising money for the Hormel Institute. So many other things, the doubling of the teddy bear toss, so many things that we could mention right now, but that's all in part to all you fans for coming out and also supporting us here on social media. So keep tuning in. Stay tuned to Bruins social media for fun updates this summer, but for the 15th anniversary season, we're putting a bow on it. This is the final episode of the Coaches Show here for the 2024-25 season. For head coach Steve Howard, I've been David Coyer. We'll see you next season.